It's Thursday, November 17th.
Here are your top 5 stories for today.
Speaker Nancy Pelosi says she is not returning to run as a leader.
I will not seek re-election to Democratic leadership in the next Congress.
Pelosi said previously the attack on her husband impacted her decision. This comes after Democrats lost control of the House.
Senator Romney supports the Respect for Marriage Act, saying it provides, quote, measures which are particularly important to protect the religious freedoms of our faith-based institutions, close quote. However, Senator Lee voted against the act, saying that the, quote, religious liberty protections were severely anemic and largely illusory, close quote.
Non-stop flights to Nashville are coming to Provo Airport. The new route will start in February 2023. There are also new flights to Orange County and Tampa as well.
Lagoon is opening a new interactive roller coaster next year. The theme park is also raising prices for next season from $85 to $97 for a day pass.
The Utah Jazz met with kids at Primary Children's Hospital yesterday for the Ken Garff Season of Giving. The team played games, painted, and signed merch for their children and their families.
BYU researchers find a connection between dating apps and sexual assault in Utah. Abby Gunderson has more on the story.
Nowadays, love at first sight isn't happening as much out here on a park bench, but in an online chat room. While millions of happy couples can attest to the joys of online dating, recent BYU research reveals there's a more sinister side to swiping for dates. Dr. Julie Valentine's latest paper has a sobering statistic.
Out of acquaintance sexual assaults, that was 14%. That's a lot that met on a dating app and were raped at the first in-person meeting.
According to the research, many assaults appeared to be premeditated.
We believe that our findings indicate that violent sexual predators use these dating apps looking for vulnerable victims.
This BYU student has experienced firsthand an online date gone wrong.
The next thing I know, he's like trying to make out with me, and we're in the back seat of his car, so I can't really move much.
Allie says she never imagined being in a situation like that and froze.
I'm just only gonna go on first dates in public. And I know I should have done that to begin with, but it just never crossed my mind that something like that could happen to me.
Currently, most dating apps focus on telling users how to stay safe and prevent assault without providing resources for victims or explaining what assault is.
What that inadvertently does is it then says, well, to prevent rapes, the victims are responsible for following these guidelines.
Up next, Valentine and her colleagues are pushing legislation in Utah that would help keep dating companies accountable.
It will require dating apps that are used here in Utah to clearly state if they do or do not do background checks.
The legislation would also require more thorough information about what sexual assault is and resources for victims. The goal of the research isn't to say that all dating apps are inherently bad, but to call for more responsibility from the companies that are facilitating these first dates, and remind users that safety should be first and foremost when swiping. For Universe Live, I'm Abby Gunderson.
Thanks, Abby. If you or someone you know has been a victim of sexual assault, Title IX has a list of resources for reporting and counseling. Visit titleix.byu.edu/information-for-victims.
Last week, BYU basketball's Dallin Hall went viral on ESPN for his Marvel impersonation. Last night, he made noise with something better than that. A game winner. The Cougars hosted Missouri State, and it was a close one all the way down to the wire. BYU was up 64-62 with 11 seconds left until a driving Grizzly tied it up with 7 seconds to go. Dallin Hall was 0 for 5 shooting going into the final play, but he called game anyway. The freshman in his third game at BYU took it coast to coast and secured a win for the Cougs. BYU football is looking to extend a streak this week as they host Utah Tech on Saturday. BYU has never lost to a Utah FCS team. They are 3-0 all-time against Weber State and won their last meeting against Southern Utah. Utah Tech is in its third season as a Division I team and will take on the Cougars this Saturday at 1:30 Mountain Time. The game will be broadcast on BYU TV. Women's soccer is on to the next round of the NCAA tournament tonight. The Cougars shut out and blew out UVU 3-0 in round 1 last week. Tonight, they look to keep that same energy as they take on 3-seed Stanford in North Carolina. The game is at 1 Mountain Time on BYU Radio. Saturday is going to be a full one with coverage of BYU football starting at 11:30, going all the way through the night to men's basketball taking on Nicholls State at 7.
Thanks for joining us today for Universe Live.
Have a great day.